Hello, internet friends. Welcome back to Internet Dads with Spencer and Rory. Rory, what's the latest in your dad world, my son?
It gets like this, doesn't it? It's peaks and troughs. Don't get me wrong, Pandora is incredibly calm, but it's still a baby. Like, even the most placid and easy baby is still awkward at times.
When are we deciding a baby stops being a baby? Because my youngest is nearly 1 now and crawling around. Does that count as a toddler?
What's
or
the next stage? Toddler.
Toddler is obviously when you're
toddling.
sort of trying to toddle,
Yeah.
aren't you?
Is
He's not toddling per se.
Still a baby, though.
He's got a nice little crawl going on.
Really?
Still a baby though.
I reckon that's still a baby. I reckon the easiest thing to do here is just allow the verbiage to tell you, like the wording.
Yeah, I think that's
Is he
fair.
a toddler? Does he toddle?
He doesn't toddle, but there's something that happens before the toddle for me as a dad of, I don't know if it's because he's a boy. I've only got boys, so I don't really know the comparison, but I've said it many times on here before that for me, and maybe it's a Spencer thing more than just a generic dad thing. I shouldn't speak on behalf of all of them, but just around the age my youngest is now is when he just starts to come alive for me. And I don't mean that in like anything against what the first, 10 or 11 months have been, but for me as the dad, it's like I feel like my powers are growing in this child. For the first year, I really do feel quite powerless. Like, even if he gets up in the night and things, I'm trying to help, he just wants his mum.
Yeah.
And like, maybe I could be better at that stuff. Sure. I'm not saying I'm not, culpable for some of that. But I know I am a kid dad. I know I'm really good at when I hit a certain age. And yes, he's not talking, but he's responding and he's laughing at my little physical gags. And it's like I am becoming a dad of 2 properly now.
I think that's so relatable for loads of dads. Loads of men will totally empathise with exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think that there are roles. I think there are roles within the family, but Victoria has a skill set that I can't really compete with.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting. There's a lot of layers to it, but ultimately...
I think that's going to be my dinner for tonight. There we go. That is my dinner for tonight.
Today's sponsor, HelloFresh. I've got a special deal for you. 50% off your first box, right? Then 25% off the next 2 months. And get this bit, I can't believe this bit is true, but it is. Free dessert for life. It's outrageous. All you got to do is scan the link on the screen. You got to use the code INTERNETDADS.
It gives you everything that you could possibly need. If you're in a rush, you can select the ones that take like less than 20 minutes. If you're feeling particularly healthy, you can select the healthy options. It's all there for you, all at the touch of a button.
Yeah, I also like the budget control element as well. Like, let's face it, food can be very expensive. If you don't know what you're going to spend, it can get out of control. This allows you to plan accordingly. Meals for as little as £1.62 per meal. I can't really go wrong, can I?
Mate, it's also delicious. Look at these. Look at the way they make it so easy for you. I'm going to select here one of my favourites. This is one that I get on a regular basis. It's a super quick Szechuan chicken stir fry. There it is. Absolutely perfect, delicious, and have a look at that, Spence. Anyone could do it.
You know what I like about this as well, as someone who does think a lot about the food I eat, is it gives you all the nutritional information. So you know what you're getting, and you can obviously see that online before you choose your orders for the week. So you know exactly what is going into your system. And yeah, it's got the healthy options. So what's not to like?
Victoria takes charge of the kitchen at our house. She's a wonderful cook. She really does dedicate a lot of time to make delicious meals. Sometimes I like to relieve her of that duty, give her the night off. I always do that when it's a HelloFresh night. I would recommend it to anyone. I think it works for people who are single. I think it works for people who live on their own. I think it works for everyone. But if I were recommending this to anyone, when I speak to someone who's just had a baby, one of the first things I say to them is get yourself a HelloFresh subscription.
You know what it can be as well? It's a great gift. If someone, sometimes if someone has a baby, you might get them a onesie or something. It's all nice stuff, but sometimes they'll get like 10, 12 onesies from people. In that point in your life when you just want practical help, like you can get people nappies, you can get people onesies, you can get people
a HelloFresh subscription.
We've actually done that.
Mate, I'm going to do that.
Mate,
my brother-in-law's about to have a baby. I'm not even joking. I'm sending him a HelloFresh subscription. 3 nights a week, he won't have to worry about dinner.
It will probably be their favourite gift.
So click the link in the description or scan the QR code that's on screen now for a taste of HelloFresh.
I'm ready for it. I'm actually getting hungry as we're talking about this.
You get 50% off of your first box and then 25% off for the next 2 months, plus free desserts for life.
It's outrageous. And this is available for new customers and anyone that cancelled at least 12 months ago as well. This offer is exclusive and is valid for a limited time only. So get yours today and don't miss out. Right, Rory, what were we saying?
Equally, I have a skill set that she can't. So if we're playing British Bulldog, it's me.
Yeah.
If we're going to play wrestling, it's me.
Yeah.
Equally, if as happened this weekend, if she falls over and fairly seriously hurts herself, or at least for a moment we thought she'd feel it fairly seriously hurt herself, she's charging looking for her mum.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what happened there?
I thought I'd killed her.
You thought you'd killed her?
Well, I thought I was going to... No. I've actually, if we're being really honest about this, I thought Victoria killed her. But I was going to get the blame.
Okay.
That was... And, just to make this whole thing worse, just to make this incident as bad as it could possibly be, the entire thing was overseen by Victoria's mother.
Oh, right.
So it was bad. It would be bad on my own. But on my own, I could certainly smooth it over and come up with I could concoct a story to make it less terrible.
Yeah.
In front of Victoria, it would be bad, but somehow I would creatively try and blame her. In front of the quite imposing mother-in-law, like she's wonderful. We've got a great relationship, but she's quite dominant.
Okay.
She witnessed it.
So some potential judgment.
Judgment. And also she'd been warning. That was the worst part.
Okay.
So we're in the playground. I've been in the playground with my neighbour, my really good mate, and his 2 children, and my 2 daughters as well. One of them is in a pram. The other one is charging around the playground, including being a lunatic on a flying fox. And I throw it as hard as I possibly can. Zip wire, like as hard as it will possibly go. It kicks, it flies up. She basically goes upside down. She loves it.
Yeah.
She's 6 years old. She wants it again and again. I go, what level do you want? She go, level 100,000,600,000. And you know how far? That's a long way.
A big level.
So I've been doing that. Then I do this thing on the swing where I charge. She goes, charge. And what I do is I basically, as she swings forward, as it's on its way back, I run in and push it to the very max. As I duck under, I push it up and go under. She fell off the swing, not the flying foot. But off the back of my mother-in-law, who, again, I love her. I've got a great relationship. But she will not react well to this. She saw the flying fox that pinged up, and the momentum took Clementine virtually upside down. She's gone, like panicked. And I've gone really cool, right? Don't worry, I've got this, it's fine. Then on the swing, really high. She's panicking, the grandmother. She's going, don't do this, stop it, it's too high. And I've gone, it's fine. This is when it became Victoria's fault. Our friend's daughter, Sienna, and Clementine, they have identical water bottles.
Right.
Victoria has arrived at the park. So I've been in the park for an hour and a half. Everything's fine. My mother-in-law and Victoria have walked over. Victoria has started talking about water bottles. And Clementine, who is now swinging about as high as you can possibly go, has, I think, deduced that there is a chance that Victoria is going to give her water bottle to Sienna, which is like completely unacceptable. It'd be like a crisis. And has decided to get off a swing at its maximum velocity.
So maybe it's actually Clementine's fault.
Clementine, okay, if we've been really honest, it was completely my 6-year-old's fault. Like, she let me down. She let herself down. She let the world down. She should take some responsibility. She is culpable for this.
Classic 6-year-old. Never want to take responsibility these days.
Guess what she said when she got up as well? She went, I don't like you. You should have saved me.
Yeah, they love that one.
I was like, well, you shouldn't have got off a moving swing. Equally, Victoria shouldn't be distracting her with a Lilo and Stitch mirrored.
But it's not like Victoria was going, hey, I've got your bottle.
Well,
or she?
All I'm saying is if Victoria didn't interfere, it wouldn't have happened. All I'm saying is if Clementine had stuck to the rules, we have one rule. If we walk into a toilet, for example, the rule is, what's the rule? She'll go, don't touch anything.
Yeah,
perfect.
Don't take your shoes off.
Don't touch anything. Yeah, don't touch anything is the rule in the toilet. On the swings, before I launch her, what's the one rule? Don't let go.
But maybe, obviously, with hindsight, she's okay, which is the most important thing, right? Maybe this is how they learn the rule.
Exactly.
You have to.
Yeah. She was getting too cocky.
You can't just learn a rule always through someone telling you. Sometimes you've got to test the water.
Consequence, man.
Exactly.
Consequence.
So
but, mate,
it's the best possible way to learn it, though, isn't it? Is a scary moment for the child that doesn't result in injury.
Exactly. Well, resulted in minor injury, but there was a horrible moment. So she's had a very wobbly tooth, which would be only a second tooth to lose, and she's very jealous because her peers have all lost loads.
Yeah.
So she's had one at the front that's been wobbling. She's really wanted it out. It's out.
It's one way of getting it out.
It's out.
Get on the swing.
But mate, obviously when they fall out, they bleed.
Yeah.
But when she's got up, her mouth is just full of blood.
Ah, okay.
I was like, oh God.
She fall on her face then, like.
She got off at maximum velocity, dropped down, the momentum's pulled her forward, her feet have hit the floor, and the chin, big graze on the chin.
Could be nasty, that, yeah.
She was so preoccupied at the tooth, because the tooth fairy.
Yeah.
She's like, where's my tooth? So I've had to like comb the playground. Found it.
Good work.
Found it. And then put a tenner
Well,
No, but
Decent.
like the first one was like it's the rules we do with the tooth fairy. I'm sure everyone's got their own thing, but it's like £1 and then a present, an innocuous present, but one that she'll love. This one, I was just like, she can have a tenner and the biggest present she wants.
Thing is, you've got to factor in inflation because I'm pretty sure I was getting £1 for teeth 30 years ago. So really, it should be a minimum of a £5, really.
Yeah, have you ever had these moments?
Well, I've had a few scary moments. We haven't got to tooth stuff yet, but so this is a great cautionary tale for any parents out there that maybe are like me. You know when you get your like furniture from IKEA or whatever, and there's usually a bit at the back which is like you should drill it into the wall.
Yeah.
Especially for kids stuff. Drill it into the wall so it is not moving. You know, for example, we've
So
got.
they can't pull it over.
Yeah.
See where
So
the
it's a
story's
bit
going.
of extra work, though, isn't it?
yeah.
Let's be honest, it's a bit of extra work, and you think, do I really need to? It's going to be so heavy. Are they going to pull it over? So now, for example, we have, little shelving units in the playroom. We have a bigger shelving unit in there. He's got his chest of drawers in his bedroom. So's the baby in the nursery. They are all 100% drilled into the wall. I've done them all properly because I learned the hard way. Okay. Now, in Alex and mine's bedroom, we have this huge mirror. It's this big, really heavy mirror. It's not like a sort of piece of glass that sits on the wall. It's like a real heavy duty. It's like this thick. I don't even know where it came from. Alex must have picked it up at some point. It's been sitting against our wall for as long as we've been in that house and maybe more. So I've had it for like a decade. And it's a heavy piece of kit. Like you wouldn't be able to just push it over. You'd have to really push it. So as a result, we certainly pre-babies, we never secured that to the wall. It just leans on a slight lean because it's so big and heavy. It's full size. And one day, completely innocuously, our oldest, when he's probably about 2.5, 3, he's just playing in our room while we're getting ready for something. About to go out. You've got one eye on the baby, but you're trying to get ready. I was doing a hairdryer or something, whatever. And what my boy is doing is, you get these little like suction toys, that stick to things like windows. Yeah. He's playing with them and he's sticking them on the mirror and he's having fun with it. And then obviously he goes to pull it off. So he's not even in my eye line right now. He's not in ours either. I'm just going in and out of the bathroom and he's pulling this thing. God, I can't get it off. He's one of them weird ones, but he's not strong enough to get it off the mirror, but he's strong enough to start the movement of the mirror. So I see out the corner of my eye, this huge mirror landing straight on him. And I'm like, genuinely, he's going to be dead.
7 years bad luck.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is, the mirror's so big, it didn't even smash. It just smashed everything else. So, like, if it hit him on the head, he would have been in real trouble. Jesus. It's pure luck, right? What basically happened is the wall's here, right, for our viewers, the wall's here, the mirror's here. Then over this part of the room, you have like a built-in wardrobe thing, wooden door. Luckily, that mirror is so tall that it didn't go all the way down. So what happened is, my boy's sitting there going, this huge mirror's falling down on him. And I hear that and I'm like, oh my God. And it hits the opposite side of the wall.
It's like Indiana Jones. He's kind of trapped underneath.
Yeah, and it did carry on. It took a massive chunk out of the door and then sort of landed on him, but it lost all its pace. And and also, because it's so thick, the actual middle part of the mirror is sort of concave. So the bit that actually landed on him, he had a bit of room above it, if that makes sense. So it's the perfect way for it to fall, if that makes sense, where he didn't really get hurt, but he was just a bit shook up by it. So I'm like running over there, tried to stop it on the way down. I think I got one arm on it, lifted it up, and I'm waiting to see him like laid like this. But he's just sitting there like this, and he's okay. It could have been disastrous. So obviously, we took that down completely, and then everything else is now drilled into the wall. So when you see those bits, maybe it's a bit different if you're like just a couple and you haven't got kids, and you think, I'm not going to fall. If this falls over, it won't even be a problem for me, sort of thing. I never quite adapted to the parental version of that until something happened. Now everything gets secured to the wall. Yeah. It's a bit more ag, especially if you don't live in the place for that long. You got to like repair the holes. But ultimately, if you're leaving somewhere, maybe it's a rented flat or something, you're going to expect to do a little bit of work when you leave anyway. So just, if you've got kids, don't take the risk.
Terrible, isn't it? It's so scary. But I think you're right. I think there is a very valuable lesson in this. For me, I do push her too high. I do. She asked for level 100 million, 1,600, and I do it. As much as I can. I literally throw it.
Maybe keep it at like 10 million.
Yeah.
Level 1.
Yeah.
But it's all about grip strength ultimately as well, isn't it? As long as in this case, it wasn't that she wasn't strong enough to hold on, it's that she didn't understand the technicality.
Gravity.
You do not let go.
Yeah.
You let go. And I can see how in her brain that would have happened.
She was at the top. She saw something going on with her thing. She was like, oh, whoa, that's my water bottle. Yeah. And that's very important to her.
Yeah.
That is in her eyes. Right, she ain't got much to worry about, in fairness. Like, that's probably one of her priorities.
That's a great
Sienna
example.
does not drink out of my water bottle.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great example of like the irrationality you've talked about of kids. Is their priorities are just all over the shop. Like for her safety, she didn't even realise she was putting her safety at risk by letting go. Her brain was completely overtaken by water bottle.
Yeah.
But you've got to learn these things somehow. So I don't think it's the worst thing.
It's not the worst, but it was terrible for me. And also the whole thing was sort of overseen in this omnipotent way by my mother-in-law, who just previously had said, it's too high, Rory.
Yeah.
And I went, come on.
And it shows you as well, there is like, because you've got different ways of parenting or grandparenting, right? You know, there's the really cautionary people who are so worried because they love the child so much. They're so worried about something happening that maybe they go on the wrong side of the line where they actually shelter them too much.
Yeah.
That's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
And then there's the risk, the sort of risky parenting way,
approach,
which is actually you're putting your child at danger. And actually, if they don't get hurt, it's just luck. Yeah. Not because of you. You need both to exist, I think. And it's often the dad that's a bit more like that, not always. And the female figures that are a bit more, safe. And that's maybe why Clementine, when she got hurt, ran to Victoria.
Yes.
Because she's like, you're my safe one.
And also, incorrectly, she was trying to insulate herself from any criticism. So she was blaming me. So it was like, get him away from me because he has done this to me.
Yeah.
She's going like, actually.
Yeah.
And when I went to give her a cuddle afterwards, you know what she did? She's like her sort of, she's obsessed with like nocturnal animals. And the way that some nocturnal animals, like a badger, will defend itself, they make this sort of hissing. I went, oh God, I'm so sorry, I love you so. Started doing it.
You're a honey badger.
Yeah, and there's exactly, and there's like a missing tooth. There's blood every.
I like that. Go back to the animalistic ways. Like, I don't have the vocab yet. I'm just going to.
Yeah. You're not even worthy of punctuation or grammar or words.
That reminds me
of noises.
I remember when. So Alex is our oldest nephew is like 13 now. When he was probably similar age, 5, 6, we went to Poland on this family holiday, and it's very similar. We're in this playground. He was on the zip line, and I wasn't even involved. Right, his dad, so my brother-in-law, was pushing him on the zip line, and I can't even remember what happened. He fell off the zip line. No one's fault. It's one of those things, but. He was just embarrassed, as kids are embarrassed. And I just happened to be walking past. And me and him have always, and all my nephews and nieces have always had a really good relationship, like very fun, like, enjoy each other's company sort of thing. So there's no like backstory where he'd be like annoyed with me or anything. I wasn't involved in the incident. And all we've been doing is having
You're an innocent spectator.
Yeah, I'm a spectator. And all I've been doing is, and from my perspective, and this is like obviously as an uncle, I wasn't a parent at the time. I was quite annoyed by this situation because I was like, I've been investing serious time into this holiday. We've been having great fun. I've been entertaining you where everyone else is chilling out. And you come for me. Yeah. Because he falls over. And as he gets up, he's crying. And he's just embarrassed. And he sees me. And I go over to him. I'm like, are you okay? And he goes, get away from me, you stinky poo-poo head. Yeah. And I'm just like, that hurts me. Yeah. I've invested. And it's so funny.
Also, I didn't do it.
Exactly, I didn't do it.
He's launching you around, mate.
But also, with like, how many hours we've spent hanging out this holiday. I'm not a poo-poo head, mate. I'm the opposite of a poo-poo head.
Far from it. Yeah, do you know, there's the only thing worse, actually, than hurting my own child.
Someone else's.
Have you ever done that?
I've definitely been like the responsible parent where something's happened to some adult, when something's happened to someone else, and you're just like, oh my God, I don't know. It's not great, is it?
Mate, I had one of the worst things that I've ever, just in terms of like utter panic. Again, it involves a damn flying fox. So we're on the zip line. This is off the back. Clementine finished her reception year. To celebrate her finishing reception, her year group, we all met in the park on the final day. I become the zip line guy. So I'm there. I throw Clementine. I throw the next kid. Suddenly, this little girl, I throw her. She didn't like it, right? She's come back and she's in floods, like really crying. I was like, oh my God. Right. She's got off and she's walking now over to where my wife is, over to her mum and her dad, and they're all kind of grouped together. She's walking over kind of crying and she's going, Clementine's daddy made me cry. And I'm running behind going, no. She asked me to do it. She asked me to throw her on the thing. Like, I don't think you know fear in your life until someone else's child accuses you of hurting them.
Yeah, these days.
Violence against...
you need everything in writing. You're like, have I got permission to push your child on the zip line? Sign here, sign here.
Yeah.
Because it is a scary world, right? That does happen from time to time. And you're getting into the age now of you can have like sleepovers and kids over your house and things. And it's like, you are responsible for them. Yet you also can't really... In these day and age, you can't really tell them off. You can't, kids, you can't really tell them what to do. Like, even if they get hurt, it sounds ridiculous, right? That we should be worried about these things. But you got to think about whether you can put hands on them and stuff.
No.
They hurt themselves and
No,
things.
no,
Like,
no.
But you don't want to not help them if they're hurt,
No,
and
you
they haven't
have
got
to
their
I know,
parents
I
to comfort
know,
them.
I know.
Like the other day, we were out, and the weather's getting good, which is amazing, right? And my mood goes through the roof when
You
the
got
weather
the old
gets good.
SAD thing.
Yeah, I think I actually probably do. To be fair, I think I've had it for a while, and the down months really do not vibe with me in this country. But the up months are amazing. And it seems like it's come a bit early this year, which is great. So we're in the garden all having fun. We've got one of these little inflatable bouncy castles, which, by the way, you should definitely get. You literally just plug them in
one.
and they go straight up.
Yeah, well, our neighbour's got one, and all our houses are totally interchangeable.
They're so good.
Yeah, mate. Because also they love it. They love it so much because I think for most kids, bouncy castles are the preserve of like a party. Not just like everyday play. It's our house has become like, our close has become like a hub for the children. Like everybody wants to have a play date at our house because basically we've got a forecourt and a bouncy castle.
Yeah, and the bouncy castle used to be this big old like job. Now you can literally plug them in. They're not like huge things, but you plug them in, they're up, you take them out, they're down. You can take it to your mates' houses. We've done that before. Anyway, so we got that out, and we've got a little boy next door who's like a year or so older than our oldest, and he can see sort of through the fence that we've got the bouncy castle. I'm like, do you want to come over? Because we're mates with them, and we do little kickers and football and stuff together, but they've never got quite to the point of going around each other's houses or anything. Because we've got like, ours is 4, and he's I don't think he's even 6 yet, so he's 5. And so I'm like, do you want to come around? Just check with your mum and dad and you can come round. And I'm thinking he probably won't come. And we're having some fun. And then he goes, I'm going to come around in 10 minutes with my mummy. And I'm like, great. And again, know the mum and dad. We've talked to them about football, but they've never actually been in each other's houses.
Yeah.
Apart from when I went in their garden and
ruined their house.
We talked about that one. Previous episode, if you missed that one, great story about me shoveling my poo out of someone else's garden. So they've come round and they're getting on the bouncy castle, having some fun. And it was quite a nice little moment because for whatever reason, I went to my boy and I said, do you mind if, his name's Theo, the neighbour. I said, do you mind if Theo comes round? And he can share the bouncy castle with you. And he's like, no, don't want him to come round. And I'm like, trying to understand why he thinks that, because he likes it.
Yeah.
I'm like, is he doesn't want to share me with him because we're having some fun? Is it, he just wants to enjoy the bouncy castle? Or is probably more like he's a bit scared, doesn't know what's going to happen because he hasn't really had a friend round before, apart from family friends and things that come round. And so I was just like, well, come on, why don't you let him come round and we'll show him the bouncy castle and we'll show him some of your toys. It'll be really fun. This is what you do with friends. He's like, no. And I just went to him. I thought it's a good learning opportunity. So I said, look, I'll be really disappointed if you don't let him come round and show him and share your things with him, because that's what we do. We're nice people. And it's what we do with our neighbours. So I'm going to go in my office. I was doing some work and I said, just have a think about it. I went into my office for like 2 minutes and he comes in and he goes, Daddy, I've decided Theo can come round. I'm going to show him my toys. We're going to do bouncy castle. I'm going to show my bedroom as well.
Nice.
And I was like, perfect, amazing, well done. I'm really proud of you. So he comes around, having some fun, and then it goes the other way. So now my boy just wants to show him everything. Yeah. He's so excited. So Theo's enjoying the bouncy castle. It's been here 2 minutes. And my lad's like, Daddy, tell Theo, I want to take him to my bedroom. I'll show him all my toys in my bedroom. And I'm like, okay, let's just enjoy it for a little bit. No, I want to go to bedroom. Tell him I want to go to the bedroom. So then I'm like, sort of obviously overthinking it. And I'm like, right. Well, ideally, they just go off to the bedroom together. But my boy's like, no, I want you to come. So I'm like, okay. I obviously kept asking. So I then go to the mum. I'm like, right, my boy wants to take your boy to his bedroom. Is that okay? I'm going to go with them. Stupid things. You just think they don't really know us that well. So there's a bit of trust involved. But of course they did. And it was fine. Showed him his toys, showed him his stickers and things. And he came back down. But I just feel like these fears that we have in society now are well founded in the sense of there are dodgy characters out there. There are bad actors and there are, evidence of awful things happening. But I have to believe, and if you don't believe this, ultimately you're going to live a very sad, cynical, sheltered life. I have to believe that the majority of people are very good, right? So back in the day, I feel like that community, everyone knowing each other on the road, all that sort of thing, which isn't so much around anymore, there was just an inherent trust. And now maybe that inherent trust doesn't exist and we have to earn it. That's the difference. Yeah, I think that's society. Right.
But no, I love it. We're very lucky. In our close, there is basically an open door policy. Yeah, that's good. And everybody trusts everybody.
How long did that take to create that? Because I live on a little cul-de-sac as well, and we've got probably our immediate neighbours we know quite well. I've been there for like 8 years. We've only just started talking to some of them.
I tell you what made it easier. It was a new development. So we all moved in at the same time. Okay. So everybody moved in at the same time, which meant that you were all sort of in the dark about certain things at the same time. So the WhatsApp group starts popping. And then we're very fortunate that there's the children on the close all coincidentally happen to be girls, which works.
Interesting.
And there's 3, and then one slightly younger. But the three are all within a year of each other's birthdays.
Amazing.
So they're all the same age, all girls. They naturally play together. And then obviously the parents are all sort of my age.
Yeah.
So like we've been on holiday with them.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like we've been on holiday with them. We get on incredibly well. Like we're so lucky.
Yeah,
because if you have like a beautiful house, say you have a beautiful detached house with an amazing ornamental garden comparable to Regent's Park, and playrooms galore and whatever else. If you have one child or two children who aren't best friends or two children of a similar, like it's almost like everything is a play date. Everything is a play date. Whereas, I feel so lucky. I basically just open the door. Okay, like when Clementine starts in the morning, because that's the thing that I find most hard about parent. That morning, children do this, don't they? Do you find with your boys? Like when I wake up, my natural cycle, probably don't speak for an hour. I go downstairs, I'll have a Red Bush tea, I'll get the Telegraph app open, I see what's going on. I'll then put the espresso machine on, and maybe then, as I'm cooking my porridge, I'll consider talking. That's how I naturally operate.
Yeah.
Whereas my daughter basically goes like this. Like 100.
Straight in, yeah.
And so basically what I can do in those moments, when she's like that, I come downstairs, I get the robe on, like Tony Soprano skulking about in a vest and a robe. I basically open the door and I go and ring on Sienna's bell. And that's
You're her problem now.
Yeah. Get over there.
Well, I think that with kids, I mean, you're probably getting less sleep than your kids, right? Like, what time does Clementine go to bed?
Of course, I'm getting less sleep than her, man.
Exactly. So that's the thing.
She has no respect for daylight savings either.
Yeah, no, that's definitely caused some problems. Yeah, ever since that's changed, he's been getting up. Well, obviously the sun is brighter in the morning as well, and he's getting up way earlier. But I think, did I talk to you about our little Pokemon card thing we had done for a while? So that every day he stayed until the clock went yellow.
Yeah.
Stayed asleep or stayed in his bed at least until then. He got a Pokemon card, which was a super efficient way of doing it because he bought like 100, it's like 500 cards for like $5 or something. They're all like not that good cards.
That's a year's worth of extra sleep.
Exactly. And he doesn't care. He doesn't know what the cards are. But he's not so much on the Pokemon now. So he's all about Sonic now. So we need to probably pivot that plan. We've not been rewarding him with that anymore. And as a result, he's dropped off. He's getting up early again. But yeah, most of the time he's getting, I don't know, he's getting 11, 12 hours sleep.
Yeah.
No, maybe 10. I'm getting 7 if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
If I'm lucky, maybe 6.
I'm getting his amount. I'm getting that about a week.
Yeah. Well, you're getting even less now because you're in the trenches. So I feel like you're always going to be less alert than they are when they wake up. Likewise, what I've found recently is like, let's say he's had a nap in the car, and they don't want to wake up and they're really groggy and they're just not in a good mood. And sometimes that can take quite a long time to snap out of. It's probably more akin to how we wake up. Yeah. But if I get the right motivator, he can snap straight out of it. So like, what was it the other day? I know. He just got out of the car and I just got back from football and one of our female players had her birthday and she brought in all these cakes with her and she had some to take home. And she said, do you want to take some home for your kids? I said, this might be really popular, but make sure they only get it if they deserve it. Yeah. Took a big thing home. And then I wasn't giving them to him, but I used it as a way of getting him out of that mood, basically. So he's waking up and he's just like, if you let him and put him on the sofa, he'd go back to sleep. But you can't because he needs to get
he needs to exhaust himself.
You don't want to let him sleep too much. So I'm like, so I just went, guess what? I've brought back from football, got some cake, and he just went, so activated. It's probably a problem in that in itself, in that why is he so externally motivated by cake?
No, that's a kid.
Don't give him too much.
Yeah, there's no problem in that.
You can stuff him out of it. Probably the same for us. There's probably certain triggers that when we wake up in the morning we could activate a lot quicker if we knew we had to get.
Someone went to me, there's a Red Bush tea waiting for you. I'll probably get downstairs a bit quicker rather than me having to go and sort it out myself. Well,
I heard something like that. It might have been on our biggest competition, if you like, because they're certainly winning that battle at the moment. But the Parenting Hell Pod, I remember listening to that back in the day with Rob Beckett and Josh Whittaker, and they were talking about how one of the best acts I think they do for their partners is like if one's up before the other. Because you can sometimes have a bit of resentment there. You're like, I'm up with the kids, I'm doing all this nest of sleep, which is obviously not the way to go. Do the opposite. Flip it and be like, when they wake up, have that coffee ready for them, and bring it up to their bed. Yeah. I don't do this currently, and I probably should. It has such a compounding effect. So first of all, that your partner waking up feels so loved and not judged that they've slept in a little bit longer and they've got that thing they want in the morning waiting for them. But equally, it has a double win, which is you're getting them up and at them and ready to help.
Yeah.
Do
you know what my priority is when Victoria is having a lie-in, which is very rare, but maybe once a week, twice a week, if it happens for her. what I'll do on that day is I want it to last for as long as possible.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll go to the park. Like the reason that I was in the park for 2 hours on my own, without Victoria, and the reason why she ultimately walked over the park with her mum
Ruined it all.
was because, but the reason that happened was because I was out for so long.
Yeah.
Like when it's me, I will really do my best to give her that sleep, because if you do that to each other, which she does for me as well, by the way, if you basically prioritize each other, if I make sure that she gets as much sleep as I can possibly give her, and she makes sure that I do, you're always going to win.
Yeah.
Basically prioritize the other person and you'll always be all right.
I think I might have fallen foul of that on the weekend. It's a bit of a VAR, actually, we could do if you want. I've got a couple. So my first VAR, my first very annoying reality is, so Saturday mornings, I take my oldest boy to jiu-jitsu, right? It starts, as in for him, I go and take him there. It starts at 9 a.m., okay? And it's about a 20-minute drive away. So the general order of things is usually we'd be up like, 7 anyway, and we're just chilling. But I don't know if it's like, I think it's like a genetic thing, to be honest, that I got from my parents, which is always late for everything.
Are you?
Always late for everything. Like, you know.
Are you really?
If I go to the same place when I do jiu-jitsu, right? And I know it's that long drive away, and with any traffic, it could take half an hour, maybe longer. So say something starting at 9, I should be leaving at like 20 past 8, just to give it a bit of buffer, get there early, talk to people. I'll leave at like 25 to 9.
You can't be on time.
If you're running in, you've got to get ready. Almost every single session he's ever done, he's on the last one's on the mat. I'm doing his belt last minute to get him on there. I'm like, why? Why are we so bad? Why don't we just leave 10 minutes earlier? So anyway, I had a late one Friday night, practicing my poker for the Irish Open. I'm trying to get good.
Nice.
And so I had a late one. And what it is I'm not making excuses, but I am trying to leave my phone out the bedroom.
Great idea, mate. You've made me so aware of you've done me a massive favour. I know that you have. I know that this podcast has actually opened up a quandary that I have internalized and now externalized that needed to happen.
Yeah.
But my God, I'm so aware of it now. It's like almost driving me crazy.
Yeah, but it's all part of the process.
Yeah. No, it's good. I'm doing the same though. You've really educated me on that.
So the good thing about leaving my phone out my room, obviously we don't need to go through the benefits of that. There's a million reasons. You get out of bed quicker, you're not sitting on your phone in bed, whatever. There's two funny things that have come from that before I get onto the VAR. One is, so traditionally I'd be in my office, which is downstairs. Usually I'd finish in there before I go straight to bed. So, and all the lights would be off in the house. And I don't want to turn them on because the kids might wake up, whatever. So normally my routine would be, I would turn all the lights off downstairs and I would use a flash on my phone to find my way to the bedroom. Yeah. So now I'm doing it in pure darkness every night. I'm like crawling up the stairs, trying not to make any noise. So funny, like banging things, trying to find my way home. But anyway, so because I left the phone downstairs, which is definitely a good thing, my age-old excuse back in the day for why I can't do that would be I need the alarm, right? And now I'm like, I don't need an alarm. I've got a child. The child will never let me sleep past 7 a.m. ever.
Yeah.
So I'm in bed and thinking, I'm sweet. He's going to come in at 7. We're going to get up. We're going to have a bit of, breakfast, fun, and then we'll go to jiu-jitsu. No problem. For whatever reason, it's the best reason in the world. I'm like half asleep at 7. He comes in and Alex just decides, take one for the team here. She gets out of bed before I even have a chance and takes him downstairs. So I'm just like, I'm not thinking straight. I'm barely awake. So I would go back to sleep, obviously. And then at like 20 past 8, I don't even know if it was me waking up naturally or Alex probably going, come on, you need to take him to jiu-jitsu. I wake up and I'm like, right, okay, I haven't got time here. I'm like, I'm not even brushing my teeth, like anything. I'm just like getting my clothes on, thinking, right, I'm going to get downstairs. He's going to be ready. We're going to go. We'll be fine. And Al's having a bit of trouble getting him ready because he's just, he never wants to get ready. You've got to get all the stuff on. So in my head, and I'm also half asleep, I'm like, why isn't he ready? Because I have you've been up with him for an hour and a half. You could have got him ready an hour ago.
I love
In Al's head, she's like, you've been asleep while I've been looking after the kids.
Why isn't he ready?
Exactly.
She's going, what, are you kidding me? You've been asleep.
And I try to caveat, this is what I'm slowly learning as I'm evolving as a human, right? I think I'm very aware that I can be quite triggering or I can say things that might annoy people. But because in my brain, I don't mean anything bad by it, in my head, all I think I need to do is caveat. And I do this loads. I do it on this pod a lot. When I watch it back, I notice is I always will say, before I'm about to say something that could annoy someone I'll say, look, other opinions are available or, I don't think this. And if you watch this pod, you'll probably notice me do it a lot. That is my way of, in my head, once I say that, it's almost like when you say something about someone, allegedly at the end, it's like, you can't be angry with it. But the world doesn't work like that, particularly when you talk as matter of frank as I do. Great example is I'm wearing the Norway shirt today.
Yeah,
right?
I noticed that.
Well,
I noticed that, and I know what it's about.
It isn't. It isn't.
This is you paying lip service to the people of the world that you suggest are good looking, and also a massive V sign to your compatriots and native and fellow English.
I mean, it's kind of why I'm wearing it in front. Like, there's other reason I have the shirt, but yeah, obviously we had this clip recently where I was talking about this theory that the Vikings, i.e. the Norwegians and their fellow Scandinavians, took a lot of the better looking women. I just want to caveat a couple of things on that. First of all, again, I didn't say it was my theory, so it's a theory I was told. Second of all, the theory isn't that England don't have good looking women. The theory is that we'd have a hell of a lot more proportionally if that theoretically hadn't happened. Anyway, I don't want to get bogged down in all that again, right? We're getting there. The point of this story is, I then get up and I'm a bit annoyed that he's not ready, because all I'm thinking in my head is we're going to be late. And when you're late, it's not really ideal. They're only half an hour classes for kids anyway. They're super small, and they already start, and it's hard to get him then amalgamated into the class. So I'm just like, in my head, it's a very rational thought that he should be ready. But I also am knowing that it could be triggering because Al's been up with him for a few hours. So I say, Al, just to be clear, I'm not annoyed of anyone, but it would be really ideal if he'd been ready. Anyway, I go to jiu-jitsu. I then get a text from Al saying, like, just to be clear, like, I'm not happy with you doing that. You've been asleep for a few hours. And I was like, just to be clear, I said I'm not annoyed. So how can you now be annoyed with me? If I said I wasn't annoyed with you, bang, bang, bang. And you know what happened? It's actually Alex got a few hours sleep while I was out with my boy, and everyone's happy again. And it's no one's fault, but she was underslept. I was late. Yeah, I wanted to get up. I didn't want to sleep to 20 past 8. So my reply to Alex was, why didn't you wait? I was happy being up at 7. You, out of the kindness of your own heart, let me sleep. But actually, if you weren't going to get him ready, shouldn't you just wake me up?
So right here.
But she didn't know I didn't have my alarm.
She also probably doesn't know would she know the intricacies of getting your boy ready for jiu-jitsu? Like, that's very much your thing, though,
she knows that. No, well, we all do it together, really. She sometimes comes as well, but and she's taken him before. It's just
when someone's let you sleep, I think that sleep in terms of like the most powerful currency in a relationship at this point of your relationship, the most powerful currency that you exchange between is sleep. Sleep is, if you're in prison, cigarettes. Sleep is like, it's gold bullion, man. If someone lets you sleep, they've given you the best possible gift. Yeah. What you can't do is go,
be a prick,
yeah, you can't. She's let you sleep. Like, that makes her the winner. She's done you
the
best.
You're right. So I should have bit my tongue.
You should have most certainly.
Or maybe let it slide for a few days. Because ultimately, it's not a one-time offence. We're always late, and it's often my fault that we're late. So, like,
it's funny
we as a family need to... But my parents were like that as well.
Really? Do you know, in my entire life, this isn't a joke, in my entire life, I've never been late for anything ever. It's my one thing. When I get there, I won't know what I'm doing. I won't have read the note. Like, I won't... You're a very diligent man. Like, when you arrive, you know what we're doing. You take care. I turn up in life and hope for the best. But I turn up early.
It's really important.
Early.
Trait. Yeah.
I've literally never been late. If I'm late, it gives me major anxiety.
Well, it can be interpreted as a sign of disrespecting things, which anyone that knows me well will know it's not that. It's actually just a poor character trait. It is. I can completely see. I don't consciously think about it like this, but I can completely see why people would interpret it as disrespect, because you're basically saying your time is worth more. Or like, in my head, you know how it is in my head? It's not anything to do with the other people I'm meeting. It's not anything to do with the importance of not being late. My thing is like, it's like a unilateral philosophy of my life. It's like, I don't worry about things that don't exist yet, because I
worry about being on time when I'm late.
If it takes me half an hour to be somewhere, and I need to leave at 8:30 to get there for 9, and I leave at 9:45, sorry. So I know I'm going to be 15 minutes late, but I will not worry until 9:01.
Yeah.
Because that's 15 minutes where I'm not actually late yet.
I don't see it as a disrespect. I really don't. And I know that you're not ever. It's just, as you know, we've been like friends now for a while. We've been working together for a while. I will always be in the area probably half an hour before having a coffee. Yeah. And that's how I've always been.
Because, and you've noticed probably me often arriving last minute.
But to be honest, I've never really thought about it. But yeah, you do. And do you know what I think it could be part of the reason? There are some professions where you just can't be late. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think you've ever had one. Where you just can't be late.
Domino's delivery driver.
I think you could start. From my experience of any delivery driver.
You get less tips, but I was late.
Yeah, no doubt. I just can't. Like I say, You will arrive potentially later than me, but on it, ready. I will arrive and I'll go to Saffron and go, bloody hell, what are we doing today?
Yeah.
But my God, I'll be here. And if I'm not here, way before, you know when it becomes apparent that I'm going to be late.
Yeah.
So you know how you don't worry about it until 1 minute past. You will like say something had happened at 4 a.m, which would mean I couldn't be here today. You'll get a text at 4 a.m. It'll be like the first thing that I panic about. Will be like, let them know you're going to be late because it's actually one of my only professional qualities.
Things there are things, and I have to take responsibility for it ultimately because there are things that I would never allow myself to be late for.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like those, but I just have a very small probably. It's not like I plan to be late. I think that is very disrespectful. It's not that I'll go, F those guys, I don't need to leave yet. It's more that I just don't anticipate the things that can make me late. Do you know what I mean? But it's definitely a genetic thing, I think. We used to always do like late stay after school. My mum and dad both working, wouldn't get out, so we'd get picked up at like 5, say, or 5:30 after school, but they wouldn't get there till 6.
Right.
It's like, you've already got the extra 2 hours, mum. What's your next half hour for?
Yeah.
But it's just that, but that's not even a work thing. I've noticed it as they've got older as well. Like they're just people that will, if like, me and my dad are going to football and we've got a 2-hour drive, kicks off at 3, so we want to leave at say midday. It means we get to football for 2 and we've got to do a bit of schmoozing in the boardroom. Like if I say, Dad, like get to mine for 11:45 because I know you're probably gonna be late. I want to leave at 12. He will almost certainly be at my house at like 12:20.
Really?
And it doesn't matter if I go earlier. Whatever the time I'm allowing for, he will do it. And I don't know what it is. I mean, we've all got stuff to do, but it has to be something in our brains. But to go back to the Norway shirt, the reason I have this shirt in general is because...
You like their women?
I mean, no, I like all women.
Is it a homage to the beautiful Scandic look?
Nothing to do with the women. I actually think I've got 2 Norway... No, actually, I'm getting this memory. I was going to say I bought this shirt, but I just remembered it was given to me by a friend of mine. We talked about it in this pod before, actually, a guy called Marius, who's Norwegian, and he's involved in the Norway FIFA or EA esports team, and we've worked together a lot, and he gifted it to me. But the reason I was wearing it, not today, but previously, is because... You know, we talked about me doing my family tree research, yeah? I told Marius this story, which is why he gave me the top. When I did my family tree research, when you do these things like an Ancestry or 23andMe or whatever, I did both. I did DNA, I got spit samples from all my different family members. I properly went into it. When you have gaps in that research, these apps and these algorithms and this, like the AI they use on their sites can sort of make best educated guesses. So like, you found this, I went quite far back, like 500-600 years back, right? So once you get to like a dead end, it will use all the data at its disposal and go, well, this person could be that person's mother based on these things. And sometimes it'll be right, sometimes it'll be wrong.
Right.
First time I was using it, I didn't understand the sort of dangers of how you can go down the wrong rabbit hole. So I was just sort of accepting every potential suggestion. So rather than doing the proper homework, analysing each thing, the first night I was going mad and I was doing all through the night. Probably spent like 12 hours on there. It's like 6 a.m. and I got back to like 1400s and hey presto, my ancestor was the king of Norway.
So not only are you really handsome, but you're regal.
Yeah, so I was like, I am essentially royalty. I don't know if that means I'm in line for anything, but I don't even know if there is a king of Norway anymore.
Just so you all know, I'm really handsome. And
I didn't say I was
I'm
handsome.
Regal.
I just believed I was related to the King of Norway. So I was like telling people like, yeah, King of Norway, mate. Don't worry about it. Like I don't have to talk about it, but I am related to the King of Norway. Not, and obviously, so I started talking about that. I think this is why my mate gave me the Norway shirt. I started wearing it around. And it turns out that I'd just taken like 1,000 of these suggestions that were wrong. And it's just nothing to do with Norway.
Oh, yeah.
My logic was like, because they're from Scotland, the family from Scotland. Norway's not that far from Scotland. They might have jumped on a boat.
Maybe.
Possible.
Maybe. I love that you care about that sort of thing. I love that you sort of stayed up all night researching it. Again, this is quite insightful about your character and makes me realise I don't care about anything.
Well, you didn't want to change your name and you were quite stoic on that. Name stays. Whereas I do care about like the family. I do care about the people that made me and how I came to exist. But I don't care about the name because I've learned through the research the names don't stand the test of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you care more about the name.
My mum's English. My dad's as paddy as they come. And I'm from northwest London, which was a very Irish area. Like I'm Rory from the Kilburn High Road. But I'm English. And that's basically as far as I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, there is something to be said for that. Something to be said for going through life, not worrying about all the things I worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm quite jealous of that.
Mate, this is the thing. We're yin and yang.
We really are. We really are.
We're yin and yang.
But to finish, so I've got another VAR, but to finish on that one, I think you're agreeing that basically I was right, I was wrong. I should have
Mate,
kept my mouth
she was
shut.
so right.
Yeah.
She gave you the biggest, strongest, most powerful elixir gift that there is. There isn't a stronger gift that you can give somebody in this moment. An hour's sleep is worth more than a Cartier ring.
How do you feel about this quote? My dad used to say this to me as a kid, and I have this thing about, you get these quotes that stand the test of time. For example, you are what you eat, right? Which, when you hear it and you just sort of surface, listen to it, it's just a throwaway comment.
Dr. Gillian McKeith, R.I.P.
Who is that?
Dr. Gillian McKeith, you are what you eat, R.I.P.
Never heard of her.
Of course she's dead.
She could be.
She's definitely dead.
Saffron is convinced that the person you're talking about is alive. She's 65 years old. She's in her prime.
I'm not
You
sure about
just
that.
killed her off. Neil Buchanan is Banksy. This lady's dead.
Oh, she was long.
Anyway,
I thought she was
I've
long.
learned, we were talking about this in the WhatsApp group earlier, my now default position in life is just to take the opposing view of Rory's. It's like poker. It's like the odds are I'll be right. It doesn't matter what he says. The odds are I'll be right. But
What was your dad's sort of trying to
so
test
like,
it?
you are what you eat, I actually think is a really good phrase. If you actually analyse it deeply and you think like you will take on the character, the physical traits of the food you eat. Like if you eat lean protein, turkey, chicken, you will probably be a lean, healthy person. If you eat loads of red meat with high saturated fat content, you will have power, but like those animals do, but probably a bit. These rules of thumb. But I don't think these quotes last so long without having a deep meaning to them.
Fair.
My dad used to always say to me, an hour before midnight is worth 2 after it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But when you know what's amazing about that quote, right? And this is where science sometimes lags behind, like these innate truths that we just know inherently, is that I was reading a book. I can't remember what book it was now. Can't remember what it was, but I read a lot of these little books. And it might have been the Why We Sleep book, actually. And basically, long story short, so when we're asleep, we produce something called HGH, the human growth hormone, which is like a really, really important hormone that helps us recover, helps us grow, it's just really important, right? Yeah. You don't have enough sleep, clearly. But what's amazing is I read this page and I sent it to my dad. I was like, you don't know how good that quote is. So it's not just about when you sleep or when you go into your REM sleep or how much of it you get. Actually, the way the moon works and how we relate to, like, we are meant to sleep at night. We are animals that are meant to sleep at night. So people that do these night shifts, for example, and prevent themselves from having that, they're just less healthy. Human growth hormone is produced at a certain part in your sleep cycle, but it's produced twice as much in your body between the hours of like 10 and midnight than it is after midnight. And it's nothing to do with when you went to sleep. It's nothing to do with that. It's to do with like the moon and all these things. So actually, that hour of sleep before midnight is worth double.
I've always said that as well. I've always believed that. Do you know, even pre-children, I would always go to bed about 9.
That's amazing. I can't. I don't know if I've been to bed before 9 once in the last 25 years.
I used to hate night football games, even big ones. Chelsea played a semi-final against Barcelona. I'm like, well, it's a shame that's not at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, isn't it, on a Tuesday?
I find even with watching my own team play, definitely if I played myself, but if I'm watching, you get these nighttime games. I finish at 10, you get home at 11, and I have adrenaline. I can't sleep for hours.
Do you know what I will never do? I've never understood it. I will always do, virtually every day of my life, I will do something active. I'll go to the gym, I'll swim, I'll play football, I'll do whatever. Do you know what I've basically never done? Evening stuff.
Really?
Basically, of course it's happened. Of course I've played football for a team in the evening. Of course I've done it. But basically, if I haven't done my physical activity by about 11 a.m, it probably won't be happening that day.
But there's an argument for that. I read this book called The 5 a.m. Club, and I've been trying to put this into my life. I've done it very unsuccessfully. But long story short, it's basically saying the true high achievers of the world, they get up at like 5 because you have to get up and do stuff when everyone else is asleep. Not just because you're like head of the game and you're, it's because not only, especially you've got kids, so they're going to get up at 7. You've got to get up at 5. Because if you've got something you need to do for your health or your life that day, whether it's work, fitness, whatever, if you get it done then, you've got no distractions, first of all. But second of all, it makes your day a success, no matter whatever happens after that. If you delay, and I've always enjoyed working out in the evening, and I think I am a natural late person. We talked about my lateness, but I also think I'm a late, like in the day person. I used to work late. My early YouTube days, I go to bed at 3 a.m. and I get up at 11. Like I was a late-minded person. But even though I like working out in the evening or doing something active in the evening, I would find more often than not, if I delay the thing, you find reasons not to do it. And and now when you got kids, it's so hard because you finally get the kids to bed. And then you got dinner. You're like, do I eat dinner? Because then I can't wake up a few hours. Then it's 10.
Now it's difficult though, because now you're snatching time because of the situation that we're both in with children.
Yeah,
but generally speaking, I mean, it worked for Marky Mark.
Well, a lot of these guys, these like The Rock and all these guys, and they do all this sort of inspiration porn online. They're telling you how they get up at 5 and do all this stuff. Yeah, but you got a private chef and you got all this stuff. But it's hard. It's easier said than done. I didn't do 5 a.m.s many times. I've done quite a few 6 a.m.s and got a quick hour in. But I just don't go to bed early enough. I can do the get up. What will happen is I'll get 5 hours sleep.
But by 9 p.m, I start getting twitchy about. I start going, how much longer on this episode? I start getting very ready to go to bed.
Yeah. I just don't have that, man.
Yeah, this is my. I've always gone to bed incredibly early all my life. Even as like a young carefree singleton, always gone to bed early. Yeah.
My plan is I have got a long-term plan to become more of a morning person and do this shift fully, and then I'd love to. I told you I've got that little Excel spreadsheet where I track all my habits.
Yeah, which is
one of them is about getting up early.
Yeah,
and it was how many days a month that month I got up at 6, and I sacked that off and now it's 6:30 because I wasn't doing any 6s. But long term, I want to shift it. I want to shift my going to bed earlier and my getting up earlier. But you know what's killing it at the moment is the poker.
Yeah, poker.
Because the only time I get to play is in the evening.
I know.
And if you do these MTTs...
That's when the tournaments happen as well.
Yeah, the long tables, you could be in there for a long old time.
No, poker, there's almost nothing that I love more than playing, particularly live poker. Like the buzz that I get, the exhilaration. But it's a grind, man. It's a grind. It really is hard.
But at least when we're doing the tournaments like the one we're about to go to, it's like you commit the day to it.
Yeah.
And it might be a late finish, but like if you're in late, it's because you're doing well and all these sorts of things. Yeah. When you're playing online, I can't just be doing it in the day.
I love it. For playing poker, I'm very happy to stay up late if something good's happening. What I won't do is just sort of watch telly late.
Yeah.
You know, I'm never just going to sit up and watch telly. What I'll generally do is hopefully eat dinner relatively early, 6:30. Then I'm watching a great series on my own. I'm watching a fantastic series on Apple Telly called Dope Thief.
Dope. That's not the one
it's
about
so good.
OxyContin, is it?
No. It's a series with Wagner Moura, who played Pablo Escobar in Narcos,
Yeah,
and Ridley Scott production. Mate, it's a fantastic series, genuinely brilliant. But I have one episode of it on my own, and this is tapping into you. You are responsible for this. Do you know what I do when I'm watching that now? I put my phone on charge in the kitchen and I sit down and I watch because it's so good. Because do you know what I can do? I don't know if you can empathise with this at all. Do you know what I'm totally capable of doing? Finding something to watch, putting it on, as I press play, the show starts and I instinctively reach for my phone, start looking at my what the hell am I doing? I've literally put something on to watch. I'm going to be fully focused on what I'm watching and I've just instinctively picked my phone up and now I'm looking at something that doesn't even matter. I'm on Twitter. Watching what some Burke's got to say about like football or something I don't care about at all. Invariably. But putting the phone away, firstly, the series is brilliant, so it deserves my full concentration. But secondly, it's a gift from you. And it makes the whole experience so much better.
Well, you know what's so interesting, right? Because I relate to a lot of that is, first of all, our attention spans are sort of shot. Like, we have to be doing something all the time. Like, even if you go to the toilet, a lot of people take their phone with them. Like, you can't just...
You have a wee.
Yeah, people can't just sit anymore, and myself included, right? So, like, the idea of sitting and watching TV has become not enough.
No.
Like, how many times do you actually sit and watch a full football match without doing something else, right? So, I was just thinking as you were describing that, I almost have cut out TV. Almost. Now, the thing is, TV is not the problem, by the way. It's the other things. But I've cut it out more out of my lack of interest in what's on there. So I will watch a really good show. It's been recommended. Like last show we watched, I think that I thought was great was Shogun.
Yeah.
That was really good. But like even that subtitles, and you're like subtitles. That's the next thing I've got to concentrate on.
Yeah.
But I don't watch as much sport or football as I used to because I just have so much real life football in my brain anyway. But since you have kids, you have to prioritize. And for me, at the moment, I'm enjoying poker a lot more. So I play poker for a couple of hours rather than watch TV. Yeah. But even if it's not that, do you know what I do now? To a ridiculous extent, I've never watched as much YouTube as I am now. Even though I've been working on YouTube for 20 years, most of that time I would have said, like, I don't really watch YouTube.
But that's because YouTube has become telly. It's an amazing thing. And obviously because of my former life working in telly, because my wife is a TV producer, I've witnessed an unbelievable shift in the power of YouTube compared to the power of linear telly. And because of people like you, people are now consuming YouTube as if it were their telly.
Yeah.
And what's happened is people like you have created a world where production values on YouTube now mimic, if not beat, standard TV production.
I think that's certainly true. I don't think that's what's happening with me, but you reminded me of, and it's a bit controversial figure nowadays, but at the time he wasn't. When I was working in production companies, Kevin Spacey did a speech at the Edinburgh TV Festival, very ahead of its time. I think it was around 2012 time, right? And he basically did a speech and he went, we need to stop using the words film, TV, because it's not about where you watch the thing. It's about what the thing is. I.e., I can watch a film on my phone. I can watch a TV show on an iPad. It's not a TV. It's just like the actual platform is irrelevant now. And we've seen that in the last few years, like last decade. It used to be embarrassing for Hollywood A-listers to make TV series. It used to be a thing they didn't do. You would not see, Mark Wahlberg, I don't know, it's a bad example, he did Entourage, but like people in a TV show. Now it's like a massive thing to have a Netflix show. So like that whole concept has changed because people get their content in other areas. I actually was convinced COVID was going to finish off the cinema. I was convinced cinema was not going to come back from this because we don't need it anymore. It actually does. It's an experience, and IMAX and all these things are great, but we have the technology now to get the film into your TV straight away.
There is one reason why I think the cinema is great, though, and it again taps into your theory. Do you know what I will do in a cinema? Primarily out of respect for people around me, and also because I've paid money. I won't instinctively reach for the phone in a cinema.
No, of course, yeah.
But that's basically it.
Well, I'm not anti-cinema. I enjoy it. I don't do it very often anymore.
But no, the cinema experience can now be replicated in your home.
I just thought that you can replicate it in your home, way more convenient. Pause it, all these sorts of things you can do. And it depends how you watch the cinema as well. Like you go to like an everyman, the experience is great. You get
I hate that.
You get your food bought.
He's always some fat bastard. Surely you can go an hour and a half without having to eat
you're
food,
also like 40 quid down.
No, but the price is a problem with the everyman. But do you know what I cannot understand? How do we live in a world where people can't go an hour and a half without having to eat?
No, they can. It's more about the amalgamation of the experience. I think you're having your dinner and your film.
Someone's bringing in, like there's a waitress cutting across the screen, trying to get you a hamburger.
But then
go for dinner for after.
There is still ways to really do well at the cinema, I would say. So, like for example, that year that I was single and I had a lot of time on my hands, I frequently would go to View
to pick up women.
View Cinema. No, the opposite actually. Well, not the opposite. View Cinema.
Not the exact opposite.
View Cinema, about 20 minutes from my house, right? I don't know why this exists. I have a slight theory on this. It's got you, isn't it? Not the opposite.
Not the opposite.
I don't know why this exists, but I think what it is, you might know more about this than me. I think when a cinema commits to showing a film, they might commit to like a certain amount of showings of that film, for example.
Yeah.
Basically, I don't know if this is everywhere, but for me, this View Cinema, 20 minutes from my house, they would have showings of films at like 11:30 p.m. on a Tuesday night. No one goes.
Yeah.
And it's like £5. So you can still do this. I would go, especially if there's a deal on, like with your phone network or something. I would regularly go to cinema on my own. That year I was single, watch a film.
This is Orange Wednesdays, isn't it?
I think it might have been EE or other networks are available, but it was certainly phone related. And it was basically like £5. And I would sit in the cinema and I'd literally have the cinema to myself, maybe one other person, sit in the best seats, enjoy a film. I was like, I am literally making money.
It's a great victory in that as well, because what you can do is you can pay for the normal seat and then sit in the VIP
every
one.
Time.
Who's winning?
Someone comes in, you're like, mate, come on. Go on.
Yeah.
But why are those people running? Why are those cinemas running those films? It can't be. It must be because they've committed to a package. Someone in the comments might know. Let us know. Why do these cinemas? Why don't they not cancel the screening when they've not sold any tickets? Why do they continue to put films out at 11:30? I'm not complaining. It's a free. Get some. If you've got a lifestyle that will allow you to watch a film that late.
Yeah. Or during the day. The earlies are good. I've done the same, but early.
Yeah, and it's empty.
Yeah, half 11. Finish the gym. Where I go to the gym, there's a cinema in Finchley Road. There's like a thing. It's closing down, but the gym is downstairs. The cinema's upstairs.
Right.
So you could always, you come out of the gym at 10, there's a film starting at like 11:15.
You could have watched the film while in the gym. This is more
There we go.
Convenient.
There we go.
Stick it on your phone. That's what I do. I always try and do two things at once. I actually semi-invented a machine a few years ago. There's a YouTube video on my channel for this. Back when I was playing a lot of football games like FIFA, I couldn't allow myself to keep playing FIFA when I wasn't making FIFA videos because I thought, I'm just too old for this. I've got other things to do. And I also want to keep fit. So I actually took my Peloton bike and I took a TV monitor and I retrofitted it on top of the Peloton. Right. So I'd be playing FIFA whilst on the Peloton. And then I actually found a way of streaming that or making YouTube videos out of it. So I was technically doing three things at once. Exercise, streaming, make money, my business, and playing a game I wanted to play. Then I took it further, put Football Manager on there, because I talked to you about my Football Manager addiction before. The problem I had is I would never do like less than a 4, 5, 6 hour shift. So I was like, right, if I make myself be on the bike the whole time, I can't go for 5 hours. My legs are going to go. So I have to only play if I'm on the bike. Same reason I played the whole time I was on that plane journey. I said I can only play Football Manager in airports and on planes,
But you're not then eating into a good time.
Exactly. So what would happen though? I'm thinking I'll do an hour on the bike, get off Football Manager. No, I would do 5 hours on the bike, and my legs would be gone the next day because I couldn't come off Football Manager.
Hilarious, man.
I'm literally
that is amazing, truly amazing.
But yeah, I've still got that set up now. I just put a TV in front of it. I do poker on it now.
Do you?
I play poker whilst on the bike.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
How good's a Peloton? Should I get one?
They're expensive. There's other things are available. I've had mine for like 6 years. If you use it regularly, then it's really good. I don't even like the classes though. I hate the little instructors.
Do you?
I don't even do them. I just do just right.
You just do your own thing.
Literally boring, nothing on the screen. There has got a good thing on it called Lane Break, which is like a computer game, and you have to hit as you go faster.
You have to up your cadence.
Quite clever.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can do it. You can get other bikes. I know some people have got that, like, is it Zwift or whatever, where you race virtually. And Theo Baker does that. That looks quite cool. I like competing. This is the thing. I like to. So you get my brother's got one. So I can see his score. Try and beat it.
To beat him.
WhatsApp him. Just beat your score, mate. Next day he beats my score.
He does yours. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Love that.
But yeah, it's something that I've used a lot in certain periods. Like when I had my shoulder operation, I couldn't do certain exercise. Peloton was perfect.
Yeah.
If I'm regularly doing football or
it's not good for your.
If
you ever want to procreate again, you have to come off the spin bikes. You can't be cycling and trying to.
Is it bad for the old?
Yeah, bad. The two things I used to like: a spin class and a steam room. Can't do either.
Steam room bad as well, is it?
Steam room, jacuzzi, sauna. Can't do any of it.
I've not had any problems thus far.
Really?
I've used those things.
Oh no, mate.
I have got good swimmers with ascertained this.
Really? I know. I had to come away from all of that for the long haul. Actually, you know, in the past when we mentioned the bad luck that we had when we were trying for a baby.
Yeah.
That we think was part of the problem.
Do you think that? But
mine were overheated.
But you're, and I don't know the science behind this, but you're saying that the potency of your sperm or what have you can attribute to a miscarriage. You still get the person pregnant.
That's what we think happened. Yeah,
well, that's actually a doctor's.
That's advice. Yeah, absolutely. That's what we think.
Well, they said that your sperm wasn't right or something.
It was affected by. I think it came down to specifically what they did on the test. Why are your sperm like this? They were like this because they were overheat.
But was that wasn't something that was stopping you getting pregnant?
No, it didn't stop. Exactly. They could get there, but then they didn't necessarily get the job done.
Interesting. I just thought they were I thought once the job was done and the person was pregnant, it was like
no. It didn't. It got it thus far.
That'd be interesting to hear. I'm sure there's people watching this that will know the
someone far more
that.
intelligent than me will have to
let us know,
give us some information on that. But I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
It is like that, isn't it? For some people, especially if you're struggling to get pregnant, you really do have to like work out all the little marginal gains you can do.
I did, not necessarily because we were struggling, but just because I wanted to make sure that my gang down there were like full of it. Like I needed them on their best day. So what you don't want a hungover sperm going through. So you don't want to be like boozing too much. You want them firing on all cylinders to make the best kid.
Yeah, wouldn't it be amazing as well if like, because they always say like for the woman, for example, during pregnancy, the healthier you are, the better, because of multiple reasons.
Yeah.
You're creating life, but also when you deliver the baby, you then want to be able to sort of go back to normality and not have kind of created so much work for yourself. But like, wouldn't it be amazing if like what you actively, you know how like you're having a boxing fight, for example, you have your camp before and you get in the best nick you can to win the fight. Wouldn't it be amazing if you got in amazing shape pre or health and everything,
I did this.
pre-pregnancy, that the baby then benefited from that?
I did this and I believe it's true.
Well, there you go.
I honestly, I believe that making myself as healthy as possible. So I didn't, when we were trying for particularly Clementine, that was where we had the issue.
Yeah.
When we were trying for Clementine, I didn't drink at all for about 3 months, 4 months. Like literally not at all, which is the only time in my life, adult life, that I've not drunk. I ate only foods that I know were good for this. So for example, I can't remember exactly what it was. Walnuts. I basically turned into a walnut. You should have seen me smashing through. I was buying walnuts. It was like food parcel size of walnuts. Smashing through so many walnuts. Oily fish. It was like, I really did commit to
omega-3s.
Yeah. I really did commit to what it took.
And your kids, you're reaping the benefits of it by having healthy children now that can survive, many a swing crash. I think that stuff is really important, but I don't think it ever isn't important. Like even when you've got kids,
exactly.
it's good to set an example, right? They want to see.
Yeah.
I grew up. My dad was always very healthy, always a lot of running. He was a big runner, marathon runner. Was really into like nutrition and stuff in a time that it wasn't very cool. Do you know what I mean? Nowadays, it's like everyone's talking about it. My dad was like buying these special like health vitamin drinks when no one even knew what vitamins were. And we'd like educate me. I remember one time we were doing food tech or whatever at primary school, like making little pizzas. And nothing against the school, and I understand schools have limited resources and things, but like we were just making like pretty rubbish food. Like, it's probably just like
cheese on toast.
Yeah, whatever. And for my dad just being my dad, he said to me, he was telling me about this is like 25 years ago, right? He was telling me about omega-3s you get from oily fish and stuff, which is very ahead of its time knowledge, really, for people. It wasn't accessible like it is now. And he's like, yeah, next time you do your food tech, tell your teacher about omega-3s and oily fish. So I'm in this like year 6 food tech lesson where, you know, all the primary school teachers teach like 8 subjects, right? He's not like a nutrition guy. Yeah. He's just been told how to teach kids how to make pizzas.
He's the slimmest bloke who's a teacher.
And I'm like putting him to one side. His name's Mr. Mathams. So I'm like, Mr. Mathams, talk to me about omega-3s, oily fish, what we saying. And he was like, Omega, what? What are you talking about? That's not a thing. I was like, I'm pretty sure it is, man. My dad knows your stuff.
That stuff has come on, hasn't it, so much in the last 20 years.
Yeah. And we're all for the better for it. But I think my dad definitely influenced my interest in that stuff because I saw him doing it. He was healthy. He's always like a lean guy, never had an ounce of fat on him. Like, you know, I think it's a good thing. Everyone's different, right? You know, our genes in our family are quite slim. Like, so it's not so hard for us to stay slim. Some people have it harder. I get it completely. But I do think we talked about it before, and I'm getting people in the comments telling me I'm talking about eugenics and all this nonsense. It's like, no, let me make it very clear my stance on the genetic thing. And I said it when I talked about this idea that I was trying to be this rugby player that I was never going to be. I said it very clearly that we don't get taught about this stuff, but it's difficult to bring it up because everyone wants to criticize you for doing it, which is exactly what some people said about me in the comments, right? Everyone should be taught about their genes so they can be the best version of themselves. I'm not saying one version is better than another. So that's what eugenics is doing. Eugenics is saying we need to be the Ubermenschen and all the superheroes and all these people are bad, these people are good. I'm saying we're all magical specimens of life. If you're a big lad, naturally, right, and there's definitely genetic factors that can make it harder for you to stay slim. I agree with that. But you also will have benefits to that style. Like you, for example, will be a big lad. You might have strength. You might have power. So, for example, if you were going to go, obviously you want to keep healthy and be the best version of yourself. The best version of him probably still won't be as slim as the half good version of me because it's naturally easy for me to be slim. But if I want to be a power lifter, I could work every single day of my life to try and be world strongman and never be as strong as he is half-hearting
You ain't
it.
never pulling a jumbo jet.
You know what I mean?
No.
So my thing is not power lifters are better than endurance runners. It's everyone should maximize their potential. And if we're not taught about our potential, how can we maximize it?
There we go.
Is that controversial?
No, it's
Mad.
not.
People are mad.
It's the comments.
They are, I mean, we both are venturing into, we were talking about it earlier, venturing into unknown territory of this pod, aren't we? We've traditionally talked about football most of our life.
For you.
Well, you've had a lot of stick over the
territory
years,
for you.
but at least your stick is about football opinion.
It's all up here, mate. It's all up here.
You got previous. You got plenty of previous. I think it's important to have opinions on these sorts of pods, and we've certainly got them, and we're open to other opinions. You disagree with me, that's fine. I think we try and be balanced. Where I take offence is when people say we're wrong, because I'm not saying I'm right. So how can you say I'm wrong?
I love it.
Do you know what I mean?
You are amazing. I genuinely love it. It's so good. I can tell you where you were wrong though.
Where?
When you suggested that Alex should have had your boy ready when you were a kip. That was wrong.
I'm going to take that one on the
wrong.
chin. If there's anyone watching, this is a really random note to end the episode on, but perhaps it could be the start of a next episode. I think I might be autistic.
Don't just try and hide behind.
No, if I am, I'll be buzzing about it. I've got no problem with it.
No, but don't try and go.
No, I think
don't try and go. Well, look, I've made a few mistakes in life. Probably autism.
I just know. No, the reason, you know what I said earlier about how I think if I just say the little caveat at the start of the sentence, I'm clear to say whatever I want. I have done some tests online. I don't think I probably am based on the very basic tests I've done, and I know people that are, and people that found out as adults they are, and obviously there's a spectrum. But I definitely have a lack of concern for the results of the words that I will say.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Other people.
There's another word for that, and it's not only autistic.
Prick. Ask my brothers, both who have dealt with me and worked with me over the years. I'm way better than I am now. But a decade ago, the pursuit for perfection in my craft and the content I was making just meant that I would talk to people in a quite,
direct.
I think I thought I was Steve Jobs. I'll talk to them like this because we're creating wonderful content, and they have to do.
In some ways, you are the Essex version.
Well,
the
maybe
Essex
not.
Steve Jobs.
Maybe not.
Mate, I think that this has been enlightening.
If there's anyone out there that wants to come on and test me for autism live, I'm game. We'll do it. Next episode.
Well, there we go. Thank you so much to everybody for watching Internet Dads. Now, before you go, if you are watching on YouTube, will you please do us a massive favour? Will you click that subscribe button? It really does help us out, and we would love to welcome you into this community. Thank you so much. See you all on the next episode.
Bye for now.